What is up, guys? Welcome to Truth and Transparency. Make yourself known tonight. Hitting the thumbs up, thumbs down, based on your view point of the live. So much to talk about. Thank you guys for being here. I'm going to let those notifications click in. Hope you guys have had a great week. So, boom, boom. Hello to the moderators. Want to say thank you guys for being here, modding the chat. Thank you for the subscribers, members. Love you. All right. All right. So, I've been working on some stuff over the past couple days. And the biggest part of what I've been working on is, all the different agencies involved in this. Lana, let's get it going. Longest week ever. Is it taxes? Shit. What's the what? Oh, hey, what's up there? Kendra, how are you? Hope you're doing well. Gonna give out some love, It's Friday night. Lana does this case like a jigsaw. Thank you. Appreciate that. What's up, Riley? How are you? You became a member tonight? That's awesome. Thank you so much. Gina Marie in the house. BB Mama. Give you a little wink there. Look out. What's up, Rachel? Yo. Busted flush. All right, again, welcome everybody. So yeah, yesterday's live, if you haven't seen it, check it out. It talks about trash. We do a lot of trash talking, so it's gonna be right up your alley. But tonight we're gonna talk about, what was going on behind the scenes from law enforcement to put this all together, to work with all these different agencies to make it pop, to be able to say, hey, we're in Idaho. Bryan Kohberger lived in Washington. Now he's in Pennsylvania. So we got 3 different states. So we need the FBI. We need 3 different state police, local law enforcement. We got to work together. So how is this all going to work out? Well, I got like all these different laptops and computers going on over here. Let's see what we got. We're gonna talk about the what is it? The search warrants, the arrest, probable cause for the arrest. All of this happened on the same day, believe it or not. So let me grab over here some documents. It's never a good thing to drive your iPhone. Let's see what we got here. This is what I need. Oh, okay. Probable cause. We've all seen the probable cause, right? Exhibit A, Brett Payne. It is 18 pages with the last page. This is the probable cause to arrest Bryan Kohberger. Okay. Again, 18 pages. Zoop. Like this. 18 pages. The only Exhibit A that we've seen to feature the last paragraph speaking about the DNA. All right, so this is Exhibit A, Brett Payne used to obtain the arrest of Bryan Kohberger. This was signed in Idaho after, not before, but after the search warrant for Bryan Kohberger's parents' house and for his vehicle. Okay. So again, I'm saying this slow so you guys can follow along. I'm also going to pull up, let's see. Here we go. This is from my community page last night. Now, this is the Pennsylvania. Make sure you guys can see it. I'll make it bigger. That's about as big as I can make it. Fuck. Okay, that's what you guys get to see. Now, this is from Pennsylvania. And see the date there, December 29th at 4:44 p.m. That's Eastern Standard Time. Okay. Then take a look at this. This is Idaho, 2:52. Okay. But that is West Coast time. All right. So that means it would be 5:52 p.m. So 5:52 p.m. would be after, okay, after Pennsylvania got their search warrant to search Bryan's person, meaning himself, the house that his parents own and he was at, and then his vehicle, okay? So that actually happened first by about an hour. Then Idaho, the arrest, to arrest Bryan Kohberger, to arrest him, happened second by an hour. And then at 9:25 West Coast time, 12:25 East Coast time, Washington, their paperwork stamped. Okay. So we got Pennsylvania, Idaho, Washington. I was amazed when I decided to take another look at this. Okay. So this is what we're looking at here. This is what the application to be able to get the search warrant. So just like all the search warrants that were released to the public here, that like there were 60 news stations, like over 60 search warrants were released. So search warrants, what happened in Pennsylvania would be no different. That's a search warrant. Okay. So Pennsylvania, their application for a search warrant. But I went ahead and I looked back at it. Okay. And I said, holy shiz. Holy shiz. First of all, I noticed that this search warrant to search Bryan, search his parents' house, okay, and to search his car was issued first. Now I'm going to read how they obtained this, okay? The first two paragraphs aren't important because it's standard. On Wednesday, December 28th, 2022, immediately I said, what the F? Because of the probable cause arrest affidavit. The 27th of December is when they got the trash. When they got the trash was on December 27th, okay? So December 27th, they got the trash. But here, if you go based off of now, on Wednesday, December 28th, 2022, the Pennsylvania State Police, that's when they were requested to assist the Moscow Police Department, Moscow, Idaho, and the Federal Bureau of Investigation. It was not until December 28, 2022, that they were asked to assist, which would be the day after they obtained the trash, which means PSP did not obtain the trash, okay? Again, PSP, Pennsylvania State Police, were not brought in until December 28th based on this gentleman's affidavit of probable cause that he issued to get a search warrant of Bryan Kohberger's body, his parents' house, and the car. Okay? So, again, on Wednesday, December 28th, 2022, the Pennsylvania State Police, they were requested to assist the Moscow Police Department, Moscow, Idaho, and the Federal Bureau of Investigation with a homicide investigation which occurred on Sunday, November 13th, 2022. As part of this investigation, we reviewed reports and affidavits, period, plural, S. We reviewed reports and affidavits, plural, prepared by the Moscow Police Department, establishing probable cause for issuance of search warrants related to this investigation, which are included in this affidavit of probable cause as Exhibit A. As Exhibit A. So then, again, this is everything to do with, let me bring you back over to me. Pennsylvania. And that they've included it as Exhibit A. But they're, I'll continue reading here in a second, but I just want to show you. This is Exhibit A. Brett Paynes. But I went ahead and I looked at something. And I went, holy shit. Which now I'll go over here so you guys can see it. Okay. Now, do you see where it ends here? The first paragraph says the suspected time the homicides occurred, period. Okay. Now, I took the original probable cause that Officer Payne did and gave to Idaho. Okay. And I pull that one back out. And I said, let me see that one again. And I go to the last page. And I said, hot damn. So again, here is Officer Payne's, the one that we were all like foaming at the mouth. This is the first one that came out that we've ever seen. This is the Exhibit A, the statement of Brett Payne. And this went in to be submitted that Judge Megan signed. And notice it does say redacted, right? But it's only redacted. We'll get into that. But this is what Judge Megan signed just 1 hour after Pennsylvania issued their search warrant to be able to search those three things I just mentioned. But when you go to the last page, it has December 27th, and it talks about everything with the DNA. Okay. This is the only time that the DNA is talked about in anything that we've seen in the affidavit submitted to be able to obtain whatever it is that you're obtaining. So in this situation, they put in to arrest Bryan Kohberger, they put in that we have this DNA, touch DNA. Okay. Now, Pennsylvania, they're saying that they used Brett Payne's Exhibit A. So then I go to the Exhibit A within this filing. And where it says homicides occurred, period, on December 27, 2022. See all that trash stuff? Okay. That's what you should see. That's what you should be seeing after it says homicides occurred, period. Okay. But what you see in this is homicides occurred, period. So you guys can see it's the same. This is Pennsylvania's. It doesn't talk about the DNA whatsoever. In fact, it says the homicides occurred, period. Based off of the above information, I am seeking a search warrant for Kohberger's person and his parents' residence located at 119 So now I'm going to go back to reading something for you. Okay. Which is the probable cause affidavit, and then the exhibit that they are saying, Exhibit A. Going back to this, we've reviewed reports and affidavits as in plural. Well, the only affidavits that we've seen of plural people would be Blaker and Payne, okay? But right now, I now have found that Officer Payne has submitted different affidavits. One affidavit has the DNA, okay? The affidavit that Pennsylvania used does not have any mention of the DNA. Now check this out. We reviewed reports and affidavits prepared by the Moscow Police Department establishing probable cause for issuance of search warrants related to this investigation. They do not say this is the affidavit used to arrest Bryan Kohberger. These were the affidavits used to obtain search warrants in this case. okay, which are included in this affidavit of probable cause as Exhibit A. Furthermore, investigators began physical surveillance of, now they say investigators. Furthermore, investigators, which could not be PSP because they're telling us they don't get there until December 28th. Furthermore, investigators began physical surveillance of the property and area of 119 Lamson Drive, Chestnut Hill Township, and in the early morning hours of Tuesday, December 27th, 2022, observed Bryan Kohberger walking near this residence. Additionally, Kohberger's vehicle was observed entering the Indian Mountain Lakes development on December 16th, 2022. And the vehicle is still believed to be on premises. Investigators are also monitoring Kohberger's cell phone, which appears to be in the same vicinity of this residence. On Wednesday, December 28, 2022, while conducting surveillance, investigators observed Kohberger traveling through Monroe County and arriving back at his residence at Lamson Drive. Based upon this, your defendants believe that Kohberger is located inside this residence and in possession of items related to this investigation. Your defendants are requesting a search warrant be issued for the search and seizure of all items listed in the items to be searched, along with forensic processing of all items. So, again, so again, I have to ask you guys a lot of questions here. Why would Payne use an affidavit that includes the touch DNA, okay, in his affidavit of probable cause to arrest Bryan Kohberger, but Officer Payne gave Pennsylvania a different probable cause affidavit to use to get a search warrant of Bryan Kohberger's person, car, house, and then Officer Payne, who's in charge of this investigation, tells Washington that you guys are going to use Officer Blaker's. You're going to use Officer Blaker's Exhibit A. All of these are labeled Exhibit A, but yet they're all different. But okay. But yet you're going to use Officer Blaker's probable cause affidavit, and his also doesn't have anything to do with the DNA. The first 19 pages are exactly the same as Payne's 19 pages, except then he adds 12 pages on to make it seem like that Bryan Kohberger came straight home after committing the murder. This is Officer Blaker's right here, exhibit, okay, 31 pages right here. And the first 19, 18, whatever it is, it's all the same. Check this out. So then I got to page 17, 18 right here. page 19, where it says following right there, homicides occurred, period. Homicides occurred, period. Make sure you guys can see that. Let me zoom in. The homicides occurred, period. So see page 19. Right there, right after that, you should be hearing about this touch DNA. Nope. The King Road residence contained a significant amount of blood from the victims, including spatter and cast off. All right. So again, this has nothing to do with the touch DNA. So now think about this. Think about this. Everybody that wants to say that they were sticking around waiting to get the DNA of Bryan Kohberger or his dad to compare it to the sheath, okay? You guys, PA didn't even use that to obtain their search warrant to be able to search the premises, the car, and the person. Okay? But yet, Idaho. So, but in order to arrest him, they needed that. That's what that tells me. And Dawn Daniels tells authorities that she works with and the judge, hey, don't use, we've obtained touch DNA and it's whatever this matches, but we're not going to use that because of how it was obtained. There's questions about how it could have been obtained. But Pennsylvania, they get wordy and they say, we weren't on this until December 28th. So investigators on December 27th, which the FBI obtained this trash. Then you just don't put it in a FedEx box and ship it off to Idaho. You then took your FBI plane and took it on to Idaho because you just can't leave your, hey, yeah, I found this piece of evidence and I'm going to go ahead and, can you imagine someone saying to you, oh, I found the knife, but it was in Pennsylvania. So I just went ahead and I put it in the mail and I sent it to you guys. No, you'd have to your custody, your chain. So how did this piece of trash get to Idaho? Well, they fucking flew it to Idaho. And then after I read this, I realized that it wasn't Pennsylvania that found the trash. It was actually the FBI, because Pennsylvania is telling us we weren't on this case until the 28th. Oh, shit. Well, they got the trash on the 27th, so who got it? You're going to sit here and tell me that, did Idaho get it? Was Idaho there? Who got the trash? Well, Pennsylvania is telling us that they didn't because they weren't on the case until the 28th. Then they get real cute to say, based on that they've seen reports, plural, and affidavits, plural, prepared by Moscow Police Department establishing probable cause for issuance of search warrants related to this investigation. And you couldn't have put all this together until after you kind of get it all and then decipher. Well, you're sitting here telling me that you used a probable you used an affidavit this is the affidavit that you saw being used for other things to do with this investigation. But notice how you didn't say that this was the probable cause affidavit that was used to obtain the arrest of Bryan Kohberger. Bottom line is that I believe that they could not obtain a signature for what they had to arrest Bryan Kohberger. Who in their right mind would ever tell somebody that, hey, I don't think that between the hours of obtaining the trash and it being tested and coming back as a match, and Washington going and getting and seeing a judge to sign off by 9:25 p.m. and 2:52 p.m. when Idaho did it, between 2:52 p.m. and 9:25 p.m., somebody told Dawn Daniels. Dawn Daniels got wind and talked to somebody. For her to ever in the right mind, because Dawn Daniels wasn't there, why would she question how the evidence was obtained? Doesn't make any sense. It's because she was told, you can't use this. And then Dawn Daniels just told them exactly what she was told as to why she wasn't going to use it. But Pennsylvania, they didn't do that. Pennsylvania, they're used to this type of shit and got really creative with their wording. Okay. So let this sink in. On the same day, December 29th, three different, you got Washington, you got Idaho, you got Pennsylvania. They're all dealing with the arrest of Bryan Kohberger because he murdered 4 people, as well as getting everything in his possession or around him. We got to be able to search it. We got to be able to legally obtain this, that, and the other. They use 3 different probable cause affidavits to do it. So if Judge Megan wouldn't sign off without that touch DNA, if they obtained that touch DNA illegally, okay, it's the only reason you got the signature. Why would Payne need to put that on? Why wouldn't Payne just go with everything that he had to arrest Bryan Kohberger? Because it wasn't enough. So now does this make sense? They didn't have enough to arrest him. But it became enough when the touch DNA was obtained across country. They were still working on it. They were still working on Atlanta. They didn't have everything yet. They were still working on putting it together because they didn't obtain the historical data until December 23rd. Okay, great. Okay, awesome. So they didn't have it yet. But for you to be following a guy December 13th, 14th, 15th to know that he is across the country, okay, you should be knocking on somebody's door thinking that you're going to arrest them in Washington where they live. Okay. But you've been following this man to know that he took this path through Colorado. He then went to this way and he got pulled over twice. And so that means all these other tips that are coming in don't mean shit because you're using the FBI, 3 different departments across 3 different states, the Idaho State Lab, and then you get this touch DNA, and you don't even use it. So why did Pennsylvania? So they're just waiting. Okay, yeah, I think that we can actually serve a search warrant. We could probably get this signed. We don't need the DNA. And they got it signed. This has nothing to do with DNA in here. They were able to search Bryan Kohberger, his parents' house and the car without any mention of the DNA. PA signed off on it. Here you go. Yep, you can search Bryan Kohberger. You can search his parents' house, and you can search his car. Thank you there, C Prince. What's up? What is up? What is up? What is up? And thank you for that super sticker. Appreciate that. So the reason that I think that this is significant is because this all happened on the same day within hours of each other. Why are you needing 3 different probable cause affidavits to do this? Thank you there, C Prince. Appreciate you. Why? And then the wording here, I mean, I know I'm right. So to say, wait, then to come to find out Pennsylvania State Police, they weren't even involved until December 28th. And now they don't call out that it's the FBI. Okay. They say, furthermore, investigators began physical surveillance of the property and area of 119 Lance Drive in the early morning hours of Tuesday, December 27th. You got to be shitting me if you think that that's when you began. So that's when you began surveillance of him, or just the property, rather. It says physical surveillance of the property. Again, that couldn't have been PSP because they're telling us in here that they didn't get on until December 28th. Okay. So if you're not tunnel vision on Bryan Kohberger, if you're not on tunnel vision, which is him, okay, you should come across him and then you should show up at his address in Washington, because that's where you should be thinking that he is. So if they used an affidavit of probable cause to obtain a search warrant without the touch DNA and everything that Pennsylvania used, I want to know when did they have all of that? Because they would have obtained, was that search warrant not available with all the information that they obtained? They didn't have all of that by December 13th. They didn't have that by December 13th. They were obtaining all these search warrants. No, because we didn't get the historical data until December 23rd. But before you had the historical data from December 23rd, you knew about his ticket on 11/29. You knew about his ticket, which led you to his phone number, which led you to then pump that in way before the historical data because you could just use the towers. I can't wait to see all these dates. Same day, hours apart from each other. You have office. This is somebody's investigation. And I just can't imagine if this is my investigation and the person goes wherever they go, wouldn't I kind of go there too? Wouldn't I be there? Wouldn't I travel with the FBI to Pennsylvania? Did Payne travel to Pennsylvania? So Washington uses Blakers, who, by the way, says, now get this. Now, this is to get into his apartment. The King Road residence contained a significant amount of blood from the victims, including spatter and cast off, which, based on my training, makes it likely that this evidence was transferred to Kohberger's person, clothing, or shoes. Based on the locations of suspect vehicle and the 8458 phone immediately following the murders. Immediately following the murders. It is probable that Bryan Kohberger went home to his residence. Wait, what the fuck are you talking about? Immediately? No, you have him over in fucking, I don't know, whatever it's called, Lewiston and Genesee and wait, what? Based on the location of the suspect vehicle and the 8458 phone immediately following the murders, it is probable that Kohberger went home to his residence. At that time, it is likely that he still had blood or other trace evidence on his person, clothes, or shoes. Well, then why didn't you go do that on, I don't know, December 1st? So this is the this is the probable cause affidavit that they used to supply Washington State University police to search his apartment based off of this. But based off of Payne's version, Payne has, I thought that he went traveling. Like, and you're saying now how important it is to get into this house and this vehicle based on the crime scene, okay, which I don't dispute at all. At that time, it is likely that he still had blood or other trace evidence on his person, clothes, shoes, including skin cells or hair from the victims or from the dog. It is likely that some trace evidence was transferred to areas in his apartment through contact with the items worn during the attack. One likely location for the clothing, mask, shoes that he was wearing during the attack would be his residence. Well, I believe Kohberger is visiting family in Pennsylvania over the current school break at WSU. I believe he intends to return for the start of the next semester. Oh, you do? I thought he was fired. Oh, come on, Banfield. Come on, girl. Come on, man. It's going to be one of those nights, guys. Saddle up because I'm going to get silly. Like, does anybody read? Like, wait, I thought he went traveling around in a vehicle for 2 hours, and now you know that he is in Pennsylvania, but he's so I expect his belongings to still be in his residence. Okay. To date, we have not recovered the weapon. To date, we have not recovered the weapon used in the homicides, which would indicate that he took it with him from the scene. Based on my training, that weapon will likely contain trace evidence on it, such as blood or skin or hair from the crime scene. One likely location for the weapon or any sheath for the weapon would be his residence. I thought the sheath was at the scene. Well, he could have got a different sheath and used it, I guess. Just can't. I mean, if Ann Taylor doesn't have a field day, I mean, come on, man. Like, Bam. So let's go back up. Watch this now. Let's go back. Look here. Page 1. As I entered this bedroom, I could see 2 females in the single bed in the room. They were deceased with visible stab wounds. Again, this is like verbatim. I was later advised by ISP investigators they located a tan leather knife sheath. So he didn't see it. Again. So. Officer Smith and I entered the King Road residence through the bottom floor door on the north side of the building. Officer Smith. Okay. Officer Smith. Remember that. Now. Pain. On November 13th, 2022, at approximately 4 p.m., Moscow Police Department, Sergeant Blaker and I responded to 1122 King Road, Moscow, Idaho, to assist with scene security and processing of a crime scene associated with 4 homicides. Upon our arrival, the Idaho State Police, ISP forensic team was on scene and was preparing to begin processing the scene. Officer Smith, one of the initial responding officers to the incident, advised he would walk me through the scene. Officer Smith and I entered the King Road residence through the bottom floor door on the north side of the building. So when they walked through, do you think that they walked through all 3 of them? Or do you think that they walked through and then said, okay, I'll take you now through? Mind you, their body cams are going to be on, so we're going to know if they walk through together or not, okay? Then Blaker says he is notified. Basically, Blaker is saying he didn't see it. He has to be notified about the sheath, right? Right here, again, for everybody to see it. Plausible deniability. What a word. I was later advised by ISP investigators they located a tan leather knife sheath laying on the bed next to Mogan's right side when viewed from the door. Again, he didn't see it. Blaker did not see it. He was advised this by ISP. Okay. And then now Payne says, I also later noticed what appeared to be a tan leather knife sheath laying on the bed next to Mogan's right side. Get the fuck out of here. So you're telling me that Blaker and Payne are boys, worked together, went through together, and that it wouldn't be Payne who would be advising Blaker of what he saw versus Blaker saying, oh, I was advised through ISP. I was advised through ISP that they found this. So I can't wait for the question of this on the stand. Officer Blaker, how much contact did you have with Officer Payne? How often were you around Officer Payne? From the moment that you got on site at 4 p.m. until when were you notified by ISP about the sheath? Whatever he says that answer is. Okay. ISP is Idaho State Police. So you got Blaker then's going to have to say, okay, well, I got on scene at 4. I was with, Payne. ISP told me on whatever day. He may say, I can't recall. I can't recall when they told me. Okay, so what was it? A couple hours? Was it a couple days? So, but weren't you and Officer Payne working on this together? Isn't that what it says here? Based on numerous interviews conducted by MPD officers, ISP detectives, and FBI agents, as well as my review of evidence, I have learned the following. So this is like teamwork, team effort here. So you walked around with Officer Smith, with Officer Payne. You didn't see a sheath. No, I did not see a sheath. So when you were in that room, you didn't see it? No, I did not. Okay. And you were never told this by Officer Payne? No, Officer Payne never told me that. It was frickin' frack from ISP. They told me that they had found it because we were going over the evidence that they were processing. Officer Blaker, how many times did Officer Payne go into the house and walk around? Oh, I don't know. I was like, they're going to look at these body cams to see what these people were doing. If they didn't have their body cams on, or if there's some sketch stuff going on, but this stuff right here, 3 different probable cause affidavits for 3 different agencies, okay, all at the same time to obtain the same type of thing on that day, which was the arrest of Bryan Kohberger, be able to search his home, search his person, search his car, search his parents' house, and they use 3 different probable cause affidavits, one of which is from Officer Blaker, who basically is contradicting what Officer Payne's saying, in the fact that they think that Bryan went straight home, but yet the phone data doesn't say that, unless they think that they went straight home and they just drove out. I mean, it doesn't make any sense. But the Officer Payne's probable cause affidavit that was used that whole day, 2 different ones with 2 different things in it. Why? Well, because we couldn't get no signature to arrest him without that touch DNA. Okay. Like, why couldn't the same probable cause affidavit be used in everything if it's just one narrative? Either you keep adding to it, you keep doing it. What the fuck are you doing? Well, because we're not going to put that stuff in it. Well, why? And then you're telling Don Daniels, somebody told Don Daniels that the DNA was obtained questionably and to not use it. And therefore, she says that. And then they don't use it for Washington to be able to search his apartment because they know he's coming back and all of his stuff is going to be in there. So anybody out there right now that doesn't have a problem with what's going on with this case, it's simply because you're not reading. Or it's simply because you're listening to people that are pumping you with incorrect shit. And you're believing it. And that's not going to get justice for the victims. Ann Taylor has the worst job in America right now because she's defending somebody who everybody out there hates. But they have no reason to. But mainstream media. So I keep saying everyone's like, oh my God, he's a monster. He's this, he's that. Well, if he's all of those things, which he may be, it ain't in any of this. It is in none of this. None of this. None of it. No, what you have is a bunch of sneaky ass shit going on. And once again, if this guy is so guilty, he is beyond guilty because all criminals are stupid and blah, blah, blah. Well, you should need to be doing all this then. None of this would be needed. And I just know if I can find this, so can her team. And they should find it, guys. Anybody's out there that's going to say, oh, Lana's over there trying to get Bryan Kohberger off of murder. What? No, Lana's just not going to listen to... I'm just not going to listen to somebody that gets paid a bunch of money to pump a narrative that makes them a bunch of money. Sorry. What is up, Sleuthy Goosey? How are you? Happy Friday night. And that's why you guys are all here. You guys are all here because you don't believe it, clearly. Or you could just be here because you're like, Lana's just fun. But when I came across this over the past couple days, I was like, either my mind's playing tricks on me, or we have some serious issues here. Oh, thank you. Appreciate the fact that you guys love my passion. Take a look at your guys' comments. Oh, let's see what we got here. Lana's going to find the truth. Well, I mean, think about that. Officer Blaker, Officer Smith, and Payne, they all go through the house, which would have been Officer Smith's not first time? Love to know what he thinks. But Blaker doesn't see it. Blaker doesn't see it when he goes through. And in fact, Payne's the lead investigator. So you're like talking to him the most, right? And Payne never says to you, holy shit, do you see the sheath that was right by the body? You guys ever have that type of a conversation? I'd be going through those body cams like you wouldn't believe. I'd put my A team of fine ass TNT truthers, and I'd be like, here we guys go. All this body cam, let's go for it. And then I think Officer Blaker's kind of screwed either way when if he's walking through the house, so you didn't walk through, you didn't take notes, you weren't paying attention to things, you just missed that. Yeah, I didn't really go in because I didn't want to contaminate the scene or something like that. Like, they're gonna have to prep him for his his cross because it's going to be interesting. Officer Blaker, did you talk to Dawn Daniels that day on the 29th? Did she look over your probable cause? Did you tell her anything about the DNA? Did you mention the DNA to her at all? Nope, sure didn't. Thank you, Rex. What's up? What's up? Again, guys, Pennsylvania obtains to be able to search Bryan and everything first. Then, and they don't use anything to do with the DNA to obtain a search warrant. So then why didn't they just do that? Why arrest him? Yeah, don't forget to smash that thumbs up. Thank you. Thank you guys for being here on a Friday night. I need to open up a Modelo. And he has, that's like 2 kids that have been found safely. Thank you for sharing that, Sleuthy Goosey. Sorry I didn't see it earlier if you did. It's great news. I love when people share, stuff like that too. Like immediately when someone goes missing, immediately when you get the Amber Alerts nowadays and your phone goes crazy and to take a look at it. So I just think that with all this technology that we have and stuff that we're capable of getting, why anybody's trying to go out there and commit crimes and thinking that you're not going to get caught because of technology, that just tells me that you must be be protected on some type of level, or you're that stupid. Thanks for common sense here. We are not sheep. Hell yeah. Sleuthy Goosey, what do you think about all of this search warrant, arrest warrant, affidavit debacle? Annie says, Lana, have you done a FOIA request for the BK stop in August by chance? I have. They won't give anything up because of the active investigation and the pending prosecution. And I was able to get, though, all the information on Bethany's traffic stop that happened in Washington a month before the murders. Bella did a nice job with that. Sweet talking the clerks. Atlanta. Why do you think they use the word exculpatory regarding the DNA in Washington? You need to get on my Twitter feed. I've been noticing the stupidest crap about this Idaho case. Yeah, I have Twitter. I need to start using it. Anybody want to run my Twitter account? No, I would love to see that. I think the same thing with like when I think there's a reason like immediately went to like, we need this to be gag. So So I just think everybody should know that Pennsylvania did not obtain the trash. That was obtained by other investigators, and that's either going to be Idaho or that's going to be the FBI. I believe the only way that you're transporting that type of evidence so quickly is using like the FBI plane to transport it there. I can't imagine them thinking that they're going to overnight. That's just not going to happen. It's not going to happen with how you're going to explain that it couldn't have been tampered. Get the fuck out of here. So, and that's F-bomb number 2 tonight. So there's that. I hope they're good documents there, Gina. I love looking at documents. I'm a document whore. So to answer that question, I mean, exculpatory evidence it speaks for itself. I mean, geez. I just don't think this was 4 random kids that were being stalked by a random crazy person and that they were stabbed to death and 2 people were there, right there. One of them awake and just nothing happening to them. And I think that sometimes you leave people alive so that you can have a witness. And that's exactly what they're using Dylan right now as until she talks. Makes no sense unless BK was with her. I don't see why they wouldn't release records under. I got the stuff on Bethany in terms of that's. Are you talking about? I got her stop. I got her information on that stop. So they released. I'll do a quick video about that. I'll put that out tomorrow. It'll just be like a couple minutes, but when we were starting to get a little creative with license plate numbers, they got a little. I wanted to know the car she was in, and that's when kind of things were wrapping up with that conversation. Ray, I appreciate the work you put in the case. Definitely opened my mind up instead of just looking at the surface. There's definitely a lot of unanswered questions that I hope the prosecution can clarify. I doubt it, though. Absolutely. I think that, nothing wrong with questioning things. And it just, if I'm a juror, I would just be like, okay, why would you need like 3 different, why is this woman saying not to go? What are y'all doing here? What's going on? Baby boob, I'm so happy you're going to be there for the pretrial and keeping updated regarding everything going on. Anna's going to wipe the floor with all this. I hope that they're doing their job right now, because think about it. This has been countless hours. That's gone into this, like, tearing apart the case. So that's what it takes. So that's why I say that to people when they say, oh, well, you're only as good as your lawyer. I'm like, you're only as good as your investigative team that works with your lawyer, because you need the evidence. You need the content to be able to then litigate in the courtroom. When somebody tries to say something, you need to know when they're not being truthful, where you can go find the information to prove that that's not what happened. Here you go. So hopefully Anne's got a bunch of diggers. If not, I mean, hire some web people. Sleuthie, there you go. Yeah, so I got some stuff from that. But I wanted the car. But yeah, there's body cam on it. Speaking of which, you know what? I need to make a note about that. I think the defense needs to know about that, just to make sure they get their hands on that. I think the car is really important because everybody wants to talk about they didn't have cars. Well, what car was she in when she got this ticket? And it was literally 1 month before, and it was right there in Washington. Offer your services, Lana. I know. What should I ballpark my figure at, though? I'll take a flat fee. Thank you there, Agent Solly Wannabe. That's a great name. X-Files. I also think, you know, I don't think Bryan's stupid. So I hope he's being utilized for his, you know, defense, and he could answer a lot of questions. Also, again, this is not saying that Bryan is innocent. This is just simply saying that this isn't the narrative. Sorry. Do you have the body cam for Kaylee reporting the missing woman? I don't. Hey, what's up? Drunk Turkey in the house? I don't know if it's Blue. I don't know if it's Daniel, but either way, cheers to both of you guys. You guys doing good? Check this out. I don't know if Sleuthy's around. If you're off and about, but there's the link really quick. I want to ask you something. If you want to hit that link, it's just easier. Yeah. And I'm also looking into the fact that everyone's calling their exhibit, where is it? Everybody's labeling it, you know, Exhibit A. Exhibit A, statement of Brett Payne. My throat. Mr. Locke, you there?
I am. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now. How are you?
I'm well, and yourself?
Chilling.
I called you last week. You're using all my talking points now.
How are you?
I'm well.
What's up? What's good?
See, remember I told you that only one officer saw the chief, the other two didn't, and but here's what I want to touch on first. Last night you were talking about why his attorney hasn't put in a motion to suppress.
Mm-hmm.
They can't, according to Idaho law, they can't do that until he's been arraigned. I actually have the case law here. I don't know. You can look it up as well.
You there, Lex? I think it's Hold on, I'm gonna drop you down, bring you back up. Come back on up here, Mr. Let's see. Are you there now? Donald James says Bethany got backed into a corner, gave up the missing link, who gave up BK under the pretense of anonymity and prosecution. Now all will walk. It's going to be interesting. I just know that Ann Taylor's not afraid of law enforcement and the good old boys group, which this is a town that's really, really heavy with that. So with that said, I think she's used to questioning police officers. I'm just hoping that she has as long as she has this, as long as she has all the content, I mean, she's rock solid attorney. She can definitely defend Bryan Kohberger in this big of a case. I just think I question how much all these search warrants, I question how many were just done for the fuck of it. Just to like, here you go. Happy hunting when there's really nothing there, you know? Are you there now?
Oh yeah, I'm back.
Okay.
Yeah, I tried to look it up, but I couldn't do both at the same time.
Okay,
but
no, you're cool. I trust you.
You can look it up, but yeah, they can't do that. They can't do that until he's been arraigned. It's a law. What she can do, what his attorney can do, is actually mention that that evidence is subject to be suppressed, and she can make an argument about it, and the judge could just not regard that piece of evidence. But she can't file a legal motion to suppress until he's been arraigned. I looked that up. You can look it up as well. But
yeah, I see it I see it happening though.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I just want to know so bad if how many attempts were, you know, to secure his arrest. You know, that was part of the discovery that she asked for.
Right. And then one more thing about these affidavits. I mean, he could fight. Let's say they would have let's say they used that same affidavit, right? And they used the DNA in there. Mm-hmm. He could have fought extradition, and they would have to make some type of argument about the DNA, or even have to present it if he really fought extradition. So I think that's the reason they left the DNA out. I mean, I told you that last week when I called. I said that they couldn't get the DNA result. They found the trash and got the trash to the Idaho lab from his parents' house, and then got the results all in one day, because they got the trash on the 27th. They said in the PCA they got the result on the 28th. That's all in one day. Yep. So I mentioned that last week. So I said that was sketchy from the start.
Well, they had to use the FBI plane to do that, in my opinion. I think the FBI was the one that got they're the ones that got the. I know that Pennsylvania did not. Based on this guy's affidavit here in the probable cause with the search warrant in Pennsylvania, PSP was not on the case until December 28th. So they couldn't have gotten the trash on the 27th. They weren't there yet. They weren't on it yet.
Okay, look how long it took them to transport him to Idaho, right? So even if that jet had to refuel, just getting the result, you think they could get the touch DNA in a matter of hours? Even if they got that.
I think they could have done that within a couple hours. That's not the part I question. The part I question is when did they say that they got when did they get the evidence to use, and then what's the custody? What was the chain? I want to know the chain of custody with all of that.
Oh yeah.
You can't just put that in the mail. It's not and overnight it. That's not how that works. You're going to be physically transporting this, and that would be, in my opinion, hey, the FBI is there. You're going to use their resources, which would be, because you want to use the same lab and you want to do all that. So, okay, yeah. So somebody's going to go with this evidence on a plane with somebody else or whatever, and they're going to go to Idaho to the lab. But what's crazy about it is that they didn't use it for anything that they needed in Pennsylvania, nor did they use it for anything that they needed in Washington. So why is it such a hurt? So Payne couldn't, hey guys, just chill out for a second. Okay. We're going to get this here. We're going to do everything. Okay. And then what's the difference if you arrest him and search him in the middle of the night on the 29th or the 30th or the 31st?
No, you know the crazy thing? They could have just got a search warrant for his DNA. They could have got a search warrant for his DNA and a search warrant for his car and a search warrant for his apartment without even having to arrest him. They could have just held him for
Well, that's what I'm saying is they got this. They could have. Why? Why all this crazy stuff?
I think they could hold him for 48 hours, right? I think they could hold a suspect for 48 hours. So they could have.
I just don't think Idaho was signing off to arrest him without DNA.
Well, they said that if they find the DNA inadmissible, they wanted to keep all the evidence. I think it was just a long shot because they feel like they had no one else. And you have to think about how they got to Kohberger. And I think they just did a scan for everyone that had a white Elantra in the area. And I think they found that this guy would be the one that fit the profile. He'll be like the weirdest guy that could fit that, because they have to find a weirdo to fit the profile. They have to. You know, that's like that crime. Just think about the narrative. I told you that last week. The guy looks at the house with the parking lot full of cars, the lights on, and he goes in the house with a knife, with small little knife. That means if Ethan would have grabbed the kitchen knife, he could have got killed. I mean, just think about, you're gonna fight three girls in a guy. They could have just grabbed the kitchen knife.
And you don't know who else is in there though. Like that place is always bumping. You don't know who's in there. You don't know what you're walking into unless you have inside knowledge.
And the worst part about it is they're saying that he came in through the sliding door. The first door he would have saw would have been Dylan's. And according to the PCA, he went up and down past Dylan's room 3 times and saw her on the exit and refused to kill her. Like, he refused to kill her. How much sense does that make?
How do you know not to go in there? You would at least attempt to, like, if you're gonna go past it, like open the door. I mean, you didn't go by it. You walked by it once to go up to the tops, then you come back down. So that's twice. And then you go past it a third time that's when she was allegedly saw him. So you passed that door 3 times, which you didn't go downstairs to the first level at all. You didn't go to that room.
I think what's gonna bury Ellie is the body cam, because that body cam has to show the bed and show the knife on that bed. That body.
Yeah, I think their body cams. I think it's really ironic because of what I started doing with this channel when I started pumping out the body cams with everything. It's absolutely. And if there's anything where these officers are like, oh, well, we didn't have body cam for that. Bullshit. You have 4 people showing up for a noise complaint. What do you mean you don't have body cam? What do you, like, you're not gonna, and if they try to say that, just wow, I'll just be blown.
And the body cam would show, I don't know. I mean, even if there wasn't like any blood on the floor, there would have to be the blood on a sliding door. Because what did he touch the sliding door with? Right? Yeah, he would have.
Yeah, and then you hear people say it was, oh, he just left it open. Again, how do you even know that that's going to be unlocked? There's just people can say, oh, Brian's like the unluckiest person. Is just like, what are you talking about? This crime, in my opinion, the person really got away if you think about it.
I don't know. It's to me, I feel like Ellie took a long shot. I mean, I think they were hoping to find something on his phone, something in his car. I mean, what stood out to me is there's 60 search warrants. There's been so many leaks.
Oh, there's even more than like that's just what they gave.
I mean, if they did these search warrants were early in the case. That means when they filed this PCA, if they found something in these search warrants, it would have been in the PCA. They could have said, "Oh yeah, we found pictures on his phone, or we found some calls he made, or some link that he had." You have to think about, like, they did a search on his phone and he came back before they filed this PCA. That's how they got the pings. They had a search warrant for his phone, so that means they started filing these search warrants early just to find out.
Well, they didn't need the search warrant for his phone up until they don't do anything with his phone until December 23rd, because they were able to see that he had a ticket, and then he gave his phone number up, and they were using his phone number up against towers. And so it wasn't until they got the historical data, allegedly got the historical data search warrant on December 23rd. I think it's going to be interesting. I think they have this all, it's all there. And so if Ann Taylor doesn't have any of it, that's such a shame. I mean, I can't imagine somebody trying to dump this on you even a week before.
Yeah, she was a prosecutor. I think she's gonna be all over this. Well, I'm not gonna keep you up all night, but I just
Well, you rock. I always love shooting this shit with you. Thank you for popping on here.
yeah, I know. I see you using my pointers.
You Hey, anybody that talks logic, I dig it. I'll always look at logic.
No, I
But
mean,
yeah, the sheath right there, 100 is it's
but what you think?
Blaker says I was told it by ISP. Oh, but so Payne never told it to you though, but that's who you talk to all the time, but you were advised this by ISP. You get what I'm saying? Like, well, who gave it to ISP? Did ISP see it? You get what I'm trying to say? Like, we still have to find that connect. Just because ISP told Blaker about it doesn't mean that. I mean, obviously they're processing the scene, but I'm just curious. Did Payne ever say something like, "Oh, when I was walking by, I saw that"?
No, Payne is gonna get destroyed on the stand.
I think a lot of them are.
But you know what? You know what's crazy? I mean, you read the dockets every day. I mean, you check the dockets. I don't. But when I look at what they submit for discovery, they only submitted one video. It was like an audio video. So to my concern, I'm thinking, could that be the audio of just?
I think it was a 911 call.
Yeah, it could be the 911 call. It could be the audio of the neighbors hearing the thud. It could be that. But what I don't think it is the videos. Like they would have to be like 3 or 4 videos with the ring cam of him of the white Elantra going in circles. But I think just having one audio video,
unless they were talking about like there was an audio file. That's the only thing I could think of, or if they messed up by saying that, by wording that, you know. But they were still shy on so many pages of photos. Like they said that they turned over 1,800 photos. Well, there was 4,000 photos taken.
Right. That was like 1,000. I think it said 1,000 files, like documents, but it said one audio file. The fact that
they said like it was something like they turned over close to 1,000 pages. But think about it, that dump discovery that we just got of the redacted search warrants, that was 796. I mean, it's just I agree with Drunk Turkey on that. It could be one file / disk with all the audio and video separated. So but I just know how they play. Like they're not just they're gonna make them motion and, hey, we don't have this yet, or we don't have this, or we don't, I just don't.
Exactly. That's why I'm not hearing from the attorney filing a motion that we don't have DNA yet. I mean, if they didn't submit DNA and they go to preliminary hearing without the DNA. So I'm just thinking like she's just gonna say, what link do you have to my client?
Yeah.
If they don't have the DNA, they don't have any link to the client, because I don't think that they have any pictures. It would have been leaked out already. Come on. They had pictures of it on his phone, or they had something.
Oh yeah, about him. Yeah. I agree.
That would have been leaked
I
out.
agree. Talking about like, also I think it's bullshit that, I have a source that's close to the investigation that says that Bryan Kohberger was liking all these people's Instagram pictures. It's like, well, first of all, who said that? Because they should not have a job. Okay. And you, for putting it out there, you shouldn't have a job.
Oh, that's bad journalism.
If you're getting something from somebody that's gagged, come on.
That's bad journalism.
Yeah, that's bullshit. That's you got this is so high profile, and people are watching this that could possibly be a potential juror, and you're gonna put that shit out there.
No,
like that's just wrong. And I don't think that should be. Again, if you obtain something from somebody that has nothing to do with being gagged, what I mean?
Let me ask you one last thing. What do you think about him driving to Johnson, Idaho after he did the murders? I mean, he would have to have all this evidence. He would. Okay, let's say, let's assume that Dylan's story is true. Let's assume, and that's a big assumption. Let's assume that her story is true. He saw him. He walked out the door. He's bloodied up. He has the knife. He left the sheath behind. And he doesn't go home and wash up. He goes to Johnson, Idaho, according to the pings. Does that make any sense?
Yeah, well, yeah. According to the pings, his phone turns on in like the middle of 95 or whatever, right? So I think that what the prosecution's going to try to look at is was he ever over in that part of town during that time of the night, anything like that? And then was his phone ever off at certain times in the evening, like, or early morning hours, whatever? Like, they're going to look at like the whole pattern of behavior type thing. But I still think that you have a guy that lives in Washington, and you want to place him being at the crime scene because of a vehicle, okay? But yet this vehicle, there's not a constant motion of, and do you ever see him get in or get out of it? And this is such a popular vehicle that you're going to need more than that, in my opinion. And then you got we have no idea. I want to know more about the grub. Like, I want to know more about the delivery with the food, because Bryan can't have been that lucky. You're telling me that he's the DoorDash person he could have run into, that nobody possibly gets cuts him in any type of way or calls the police right away. I mean, that there wasn't other people in that house when there's always people in that house. That he knew that all of these victims were already separated and in their rooms of where he could attack them. And nobody got to their phones. Everyone's on their phones and their phones are right by them.
I want to know whose DNA is on that DoorDash, because they have a picture of that DoorDash bag sitting on the kitchen sink, behind the kitchen sink. I want to know whose DNA is on there, because their phone, remember, the victim's phone stopped. I think they stopped having activities around, I would say, 2 o'clock. I don't know, 2 or 3 o'clock, according to the PCA, according to that.
Yeah, so, well, they say we're not using the victim's phones for time of death or crime. We're only using the phones of the survivors.
Right.
So
no, I like to know who received that DoorDash. Did Dylan go downstairs? Did Zayna go downstairs and pick up the DoorDash? Whose DNA is on that DoorDash bag?
Yeah. Was it just left at the door? Yeah, I think how come no TikTok warrants? I'm sure there's TikTok warrants out there. We don't have everything.
No, there was like I said, there's been a lot of leaks. All the leaks in this case, there would have been something out there that says, oh yes, there's this definite link between Kohberger and the victims. We haven't heard a lot of we heard a lot of things from Banfield that we know is just bullshit. I mean, common sense. Like, yeah. I don't know anything about this case that makes sense. Tell me one thing. I mean, Lena, tell me one thing about this case that makes sense. One thing, just one thing about this case that makes sense.
I don't even think it makes sense that the investigators early on knew that this was a targeted attack, isolated targeted attack, based on early in the investigation, based on them being there at the crime scene. Well, what was there at the crime scene? What just because two people were unharmed? Because early on the crime scene, you wouldn't even know if they were there. What if they weren't there? Those two people weren't there. You don't even know that yet, because you have your chief saying that. Well, we're still trying to figure out. We don't even know this yet. They didn't even have the towers, the warrants back from the towers, until 11/17. So, and then anybody telling the Gonsalves family that, hey, this person's phone pinged off of the Wi-Fi, his phone was off, so it couldn't have been him pinging, So I think the only thing that makes sense in this case is that they're going to demolish the house, but that they're demolishing it too soon, though.
I mean, look, they were going to clean the house. I think what.
Yeah, it's all messed up. Like, it's.
the fact that she stopped the cleaning, I think that was important, because when she could go and like, she could actually go and like look at the blood trails. Was there any blood in the bathroom? I mean, she could look at the door, the sliding door. But one thing that stood out to me was the fact that they found Ethan in the doorway, right? In the doorway of the room. So that means if Dylan came out of her room after seeing Kohberger, she would have to see Dylan hanging outside the doorway. There's no way she could just think, oh yeah, that's just
You don't open up a door like this. If you hear something, why are you opening up a door and like to peek out? What are you scared of? There's nothing to be scared of. You just hear a noise. You know what I mean? You hear noises all the time in your college house. You would never open up your college door unless you heard something like an altercation in terms of like, oh my God, he's got a gun, or like something like that would be. But if you're just hearing like noises in the college house that's loud, you would never open up your door to peek out. That you would just open up your door. So for anybody to say that, if she says that she just peeked out, like by like just opening the door a little bit, I call complete and utter. That's just, if you're watching like the ID channel when they did like their reenactment, that's what they had the person doing, like going like this, and I'm like, that is not how anybody you have no reason to be scared. Because if that's the case, then you would have called 911 before you ever even would have opened up your door like that.
You see the digital reenactment of the case. I mean, somebody made a digital reenactment of the case. I guess she aired it. It just shows Kohberger going in the house. It just looked like so superficial. I mean, the story, like just to break into someone's house. I mean, just to not know what you're gonna find, but you know there's people in the house. You're breaking in, you're just walking in, you go upstairs. It's like it's impossible. It's too many red flags in this case. Nothing in this case, not a single thing in this case makes sense. Like the Murdoch case, you can say that if they didn't find a Snapchat video, yeah, he could get away with this. But in this case, the storyline, the narrative, nothing makes sense in this case. I mean, unless they come out at the preliminary hearing and say, yeah, here's the DNA. Like they bring out the examiner, she testified, yeah, that's his DNA, or they found something on his phone. I still have to stick to my disbelief that
100 stick to it, because I don't care anybody. Oh, they have so much more. This is only 10% of it.
they can't bring out evidence. Yeah, everything has to be submitted by discovery. They can't bring out nothing in secret. So, oh yeah, they're holding this in secret. No.
Yeah. I get that you don't want to show your hand. That's perfectly fine. But that's not what I'm asking for. What I'm saying is that you look at everything and how they had to strategically do this, that, or the other. But yet they're over there at the Sigma Chi house, 8 cars deep every other day. The Idaho State Police was over there. But yet they refused to take one officer over to talk to Bryan Kohberger between 11:29 and 12:13 before he left to go to PA. Come on. But yet you're at the Sigma Chi house 24/7, and I know that's fact because of Jonathan Lee Richards was there and he was doing the video.
Let me ask you this last thing. Do you know what Jack D drives? Because I remember in the beginning when they didn't find KB yet, they had videos of him near a white car, a white sedan, and I believe his friend that lives at the end of King Road had a white car that was actually on Google.
Yeah, there's definitely a white car that lives at that end house. I don't think that their inner circle had anything to do with the actual crimes, but I think their inner circle knows what the hell's been going on around there, if that makes sense.
Dylan knows something. I'm not saying like when I try to tell people, yeah, Dylan, this and that and the third. I'm not saying she did this murder. I don't even to commit this.
And neither am I. I'm simply saying that this is a PCA, and it's not actually Dylan's words, because this is a cop just saying that this is what Dylan said.
Mm-hmm.
Until I hear from Dylan, they can put whatever they want. I've witnessed people lie, so they can say whatever.
I want to know what she saw when she saw Kohberger. What did she see in his hand? Did she see a bag for him to change clothes? Did she see him with the knife in his hand? What happened to that knife? Because that knife, the sheep was left behind. So did he put that knife in his pocket? I need to hear from her.
Yeah.
I mean, I think her testimony is gonna be a
And if you
bombshell.
didn't see a knife, why would it be so scary? Because once again, the people that were hanging out at this house and the stuff that they would do to each other, that was like a normal night of to see somebody in a mask. That's what they did to each other. There's nothing.
But what kind of mask was it? Was it one of those COVID masks, or was it like a ski mask?
Well,
We don't
I
know
even
that.
think I even think that would make it even less scarier.
N95, was that an N95? I don't know.
I would think it was like a ski mask. I mean,
Right.
if you're going there to kill somebody and you're just going to go with a COVID mask, but they don't. They just say what they say in the PCA.
No,
Who the
but
hell knows?
but would a ski mask show the bushy eyebrows? I don't know.
I think all that's going to be. I mean, also I think bushy eyebrows is for somebody that's a girl that, you know, pencil. Let's say she pencils in her eyebrows, or like she does. Anything's going to look bushy compared to a girl keeping thin eyebrows. That's.
I don't know, Lena. I don't know. I don't like.
I'm with you.
When I argue with this case, it means like I'm supporting BK. I am not supporting. I can't support anything. It's just the story. Like out of all these cases I'm hearing, this story, not a damn.
I'm
thing
questioning
makes
the
sense.
investigation. That's what I'm questioning the investigation because it's for people. Like if I lived in that town, if you lived in Moscow right now, you're sitting here telling me that you feel safe.
And you know what else? No other case do I hear every single detail. Oh, we can't release this evidence because it's thing to our investigation.
Or it's
like
or a police officer is in danger.
I can't stand these interviews. It makes like I don't know. It makes me feel like he's the enemy. Like why would you like basic evidence? Like somebody got shot down the street. Like all that details on the news. Like. Why can't you release your holding this detail like you want to paint this picture your way? He wanted to paint that whole case his way. He didn't want to release any details because that would catch him in a lie later on. So I didn't like that about this case. But
yeah,
I'm gonna leave you with that, Lena. It was nice talking to you.
You know it, Mr. Legs. Love when you're here. Have a good night, hon.
I know you have a wonderful night.
Okay, thanks, love. He's a good chat. He gets it. He gets it. So yep, right, absolutely. Yeah, people need to understand that the investigation is not on point. Maybe they will tie it all together. I mean, they did tell the community that hey, we still want information, anything that you have on Bryan Kohberger, blah, blah, blah. Well, I think your timeline needs to be looked at. I'm still not sold on the fact that if Kaylee and Maddie's phones were completely stopped and being used at the same time of 2:52 a.m., why can't it be assumed that it was because they were no longer with us? So especially you don't like rip off all these like calls in a row, and then all of a sudden both of their phones, both of these people fell asleep at the same time. Come on now. I've just never heard of a situation where you don't use the victim's phones to determine the time of the crime or time of like, that's what they said. They use the two survivors, their phones, and Dylan's statements to come up with between 4 o'clock and 4:25 is when the crimes happened. Well, I know, right there. Yeah. So yeah, take a look at these search warrants. Take a look at how everything played out, and they did not use the DNA. I don't know, rushing it over. I mean, Pennsylvania didn't use it. Washington used, Blaker. Wait here. I'll do 15 more minutes worth, so if anybody wanted to grab that link, you can. And then I'm wrapping it up. So as I entered this bedroom, I could see two females in the single bed in the room. I was later advised by ISP investigators. They located a tan leather knife sheath laying on the bed. Crazy. Then the other part about it is that this is what they turned into Washington. And on page 19, right there, where it says the homicides occurred, period, Paines says about the DNA, and then it stops to get the arrest of Bryan Kohberger. They put the fact about the DNA in it. It's a touch DNA matching, his dad. But this doesn't have it in terms of getting into his residence. This is the probable cause affidavit that they use to get into his residence in Washington. And the next sentence in this paragraph is just mind-blowing to me. Based on everything else, the King Road residence contained a significant amount of blood from the victims, including the spattered cast-off blood, which based on my training makes it likely that this evidence was transferred to Kohberger's person, clothing, or shoes. Now, the other thing I think is interesting when they're talking about person, clothing, or shoes. So if you thought that it was transferred, was there anything on the bottom? Do you see any path going out of the house? Because they make no mention of it. Based on the location of the suspect vehicle and the 8458 phone immediately following the murders, it is probable that Kohberger went home to his residence. Again, based on the locations of the suspect vehicle and the 8458 phone immediately following the murders. Well, I'm under the impression that immediately following the murders, the 8458 phone isn't even on. Right? It is probable that Kohberger went home to his residence. At that time, it is likely that he still had blood or other trace evidence on his person, clothes, shoes, including skin cells or hair from the victims or from the dog. It is likely that some trace evidence was transferred to areas in his apartment through contact. Okay. One likely location for the clothes, mask, shoes that he was wearing during the attack would be his residence. Well, I believe Kohberger is visiting family in Pennsylvania over the current school break at WSU. I believe, pay attention to that word though, I believe he intends to return for the start of the next semester. So I expect his belongings to still be in his residence. To date, we have not recovered the weapon used in the homicides, which would indicate that he took it with him from the scene. Based on my training, that weapon will likely contain trace evidence on it, such as blood or skin or hair from the crime scene. One likely location for the weapon or any sheath for the weapon would be his residence. So there you go. I need a Modelo for my voice. Hey, objection overruled. How are you? They searched his apartment, right? Yeah, that's for his apartment. This is what they so I think, basically they're saying that he left his sheath at the crime scene, so he's going to need to put that into a different sheath. And maybe that sheath then would have the transfer. So, yeah, no scratches, no nothing. He goes straight to classes the next day. Well, Monday. Let's see, he has a doctor's appointment. I think he had a hair appointment. He was set to his license and stuff. His plates were expiring, so he had to go get stuff like that before 11:30. Yeah, but Annie, I think what they're looking for is they're looking for the fact that, because think about this, this is logical. It is logical, which is if I leave and I don't have my sheath anymore, like, is it logical that, okay, I want to put my knife in a sheath, so either A, I would buy a new sheath to put it in, or if I had sheaths laying around, I would just grab that one, and then therefore that transfer at some point. So I don't think that here they use the word, any sheath, plural. If you actually think about it, I think that it's because of that. I do think that knife at the point of when Dylan says that that's when she saw him, that knife would still be, because you're coming around the corner from Xana's room, because it's not that big, guys, and you're going to be like dead smack into like that little hallway. And I just don't think during that point of time is when he would have been hiding the knife or putting it away. What's up, Mandy?
Hi.
Hi, how are you? Hold on, I'm gonna grab a Modelo to close out my night. Go ahead, say whatever you want to the fans.
Oh, hold on. Bear with me. I was going to ask her a hypothetical question. So if the search warrant was not obtained the way it was supposed to be, what happens now?
Oh, boy.
Oh, hold on. My cat's trying to get inside.
All right, what's up, Mandy? Sorry about that delay here, but I also want to show you guys these amazing lettuce wraps that we made tonight because of my continued birthday celebration. All right, so hold on one second. Lettuce wraps, white rice, and then chicken with bell peppers, and what do you call it? Water chestnuts.
Oh,
that's what we got going on.
Sure.
So what's up? What do you got? Whew.
I was asking a hypothetical question. So let's say if they got the search warrant, the unwarranted search warrant, if they didn't do it correctly, then what happens now?
I don't know. don't know. I'm waiting. Actually, well, I will know here in the morning. That's being talked about now by professionals in that capacity. They're looking
Like
over.
us, yeah, like
yeah,
us. That's
exactly. They're looking over the stuff that everything that I put out yesterday and then today what I showed you guys. So
why. Okay, gets retried in federal court. So then that's like serious. That's like going against your constitutional rights. Like,
yeah, I mean, I think that I think it's all crazy because if you have this person and he's your guy and you like, what are you guys doing? You don't like. I mean, what are you
if you
doing?
were on him that quickly, then why are we waiting until like 25 minutes before we go swat his parents' house to get all the documentation? It just, I don't know. Doesn't make any sense.
I think it's crazy. So you just take your little lettuce wrap, you know, put your little stuff in there.
No sauce.
I'm a plain Jane when it comes to like
Condiments.
condoms. Yeah.
Yeah. And mints. You'll pass.
I don't like my stuff watered down. I like it pure.
Nothing soggy. Like no tomatoes on your burger.
I don't like tomatoes on my burger now. I'm like a ketchup, mustard, pickle, cheese, all American. No white stuff.
For your rice.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, hold on. I gotta. Do you want to see my cat?
Oh God, yeah. Do you have a cat?
Oh, yeah. Okay. Hold on.
Okay. Come here, girl. Is it a boy or a girl?
It's a boy.
Oh, what's his name?
Oh, his name is Buddy.
Buddy?
Buddy. Yeah, you know.
Like Buddy the elf?
Yeah.
Cool.
He loves smiling. It's his favorite thing. You know when you like, I'm sure other people know this, when you get a pet and then you're like, I'm gonna let the kids name the pet. And they come up with like the stupidest fucking names ever, and then you're stuck with a dog named Squirrel. I don't know. It just Oh,
So-
sorry. Sorry, your dog's name's Buddy. I didn't. Did your kid name it?
Did a kid name your dog? I mean cat?
Yes. Yeah, that's Buddy.
Mm. Well, Teddy's a good name. You want to see my cat? Did you like how she did that? Everyone's a fan of the way that you did that.
Oh,
yeah.
did that
So,
mean-
what do you think about the fact that 3 different probable cause the affidavits were different? What do you think about that?
so Idaho, they have a different variation. Pennsylvania has a different variation. Washington
Yep.
has a different variation. I
Yep.
mean,
And then they're using the same person for like the 2 out of the 3, and there's even a different variation of that. Like, wait, why? What's going on here? It's the
they
same
have-
day.
yeah, the 3 different states and then like a wild card that they'll just throw in the mix here and there.
I just think it's crazy. That would take some like, and then you're talking to Don Daniels, and you're like, "Yo, girl, what's up?" Like, you can't be putting that DNA on there, girl.
But
Okay,
it's like,
no problem. We won't.
so we got this and it's super cool and it's going to work, but don't use it after, like, don't really use it, but use it. So, but go ahead and arrest him, but don't hold us accountable for that part. The whole entire part, the point of the warrant.
Oh, sorry. I had you muted. I'm speechless over this. because I don't understand why any of this would be going on like this. I also don't understand how
Well, yeah, and for a normal fact-based thinking person, like even if you're a emotional thinker, you're trying to rationalize how any of this makes sense. Like one fuck up, okay, got it. But 3 different states, the FBI, everybody
you you went all crazy to get this DNA, but then you don't even use it. Think about that. That doesn't make any fucking sense. You go crazy to get this and then rush it, and then Idaho's waiting to get the results because they use it to get the arrest of Bryan Kohberger, and that's all. That just tells me that you needed that to be able to arrest him. So then I question everything about the sheath and the DNA then at that point, because you're telling Dawn Daniels not to use it because of the way that it was obtained. That way that if you put that in your probable cause affidavit, anything from that apartment, then if it was obtained, if the DNA was obtained illegally, now it's poisonous fruit, blah, blah, blah.
It's a snowball.
Yeah, exactly. So why the fuck are you even dealing with the DNA?
Yeah.
But to me, it was like Idaho needed it. Idaho needed it to give the okay to arrest him. So does that mean that they attempted to get him arrested without it? And that tells me that you have allegedly have all this other shit, but we're not going to put it in a probable cause because we don't want to show our fucking hand. So
we don't want them to know that we were shady as fuck.
That doesn't make sense to me.
But we still want to arrest him, even though we're breaking the rules. So you have to have a warrant to watch someone. So he's being watched. Correct?
And
that makes sense as to why he invoked his Fourth Amendment. He invoked like 3 or 4 of them.
No. They don't say that in here. They say that the property was being surveillanced. I believe he was being watched. I mean, how the hell did they know where he's at?
How did they know that he came through the gate?
Well, how about this? Why aren't you knocking on his door to think that you're going to go and find him at the apartment? You know what I mean? Blaker's like, yeah, we have reason to believe that we think he's in Pennsylvania visiting family for the holidays, but he's going to come back. Okay, sweet. Yeah. Okay. So he's not fired? So he's not fired? Hey, Banfield. So do you think that they're lying in here? Just curious.
Because it's not really BK. It's probably some paid actor, and it's just it's the cartel.
So Mandy, what's been your favorite moment being over here on Truth and Transparency? What's been your favorite episode? Just curious.
Well, obviously,
I agree, Susan. What real evidence do they really have? It's all circumstantial. This is in not saying that circumstantial evidence isn't evidence, because it is, but
it doesn't carry that much weight.
It carries weight, but it should be way heavier circumstantial around the time of the murder. Yes, you have a white Elantra. He owns a white Elantra. Okay. But yes, you don't have him. You have an FBI agent that gave you a different year. And then after he sees a different video, he's identifying that expanded years off of that other video. So that doesn't mean that means that that doesn't mean that video that he first identified could be the same car as that. And that's going to come out. It's all going to come out. I mentioned that in the beginning. I'm like, you're using different videos to identify these makes and models. And
I'm just hoping that maybe
you're not identifying them as the same vehicle.
Daddy Kohberger has like this illegitimate child somewhere that nobody knew about. And somehow he got his DNA on the sheath. And now they're going to have a whole other thing about an illegitimate child. And
yeah,
Bryan has a brother.
I went down his path. He has a cousin. I think his cousin may have had. I think his cousin had an early departure from this world under suspicious circumstances. And what was weird is that Bryan wasn't listed in the obituary.
Oh, I remember you talking about that.
Yeah, all the cousins were, and he wasn't. Like his parents were listed as, aunt and uncle, and then there's no Bryan. Oh, that was really weird.
Yeah, and it was in his sisters as well.
Hi, Casey. How are you?
Hi, Casey.
Yeah. Jenny, thank you. Lana, you're totally right with everything you say and do. Love it. Jenny, high five. Thank you so much.
Yeah,
so-
they'd rather him drive all the way across the United States on the car that they need a warrant on, and wash it, do whatever you want to do. We'll give you about, 2 weeks, and then we'll see what you come up with.
What about, does anybody out there think that Bryan Kohberger was the DoorDash delivery guy?
Oh shit! I thought you wanted to get off of this and like.
Maybe we'll leave that for another day. I was just
let's hear.
I don't think he is, but I think that there's I think that all these people coming and goings and all this, nobody saw him.
Sylvia
except Dylan.
Yeah, Dylan's the only one. She has an eye for things that are clad in black, apparently.
Annie, I love when Annie's like, hell no.
Yeah, she's just like straight up, nope.
I love it.
Gina says negative.
I don't even know what that means, Gina. Negative? Maybe she meant to say negative, but her wine glass slipped. Hit the nip. The end.
I didn't think she used glass.
No, straight from the bottle. It's the way to go.
Sippy cup.
I mean, am I weird to think that why are you saying in Blaker's probable cause affidavit that so Blaker believes that he went straight home, but Payne believes that he was driving around out like 40 miles away?
Just cruising around.
But like, do you see what I'm trying to say, folks? Like, it's because that probable cause affidavit that you have him not returning straight to his home wouldn't fly. Would that not fly with Washington? Do you get what I'm trying to say? Like, well, if he went somewhere else for a couple hours, then he would have discarded whatever he had, maybe jumped in a damn river or showered at wherever he was.
Well, wouldn't like any person that just did that be a little bit more proactive on getting rid of shit, especially knowing the fact that he's going to Pennsylvania and he lives in a cult neighborhood? Like he knew, oh my gosh, I can only deposit 1 pound of trash and it's going to be inspected, and they're probably going to think it's a little strange to have my murdery outfit, whatever that may be, in the trash. Like they're worse than a parent over there. Like they're going through all the trash.
And then what's interesting too is, hey, we're going to go ahead and say that we reviewed all these reports and affidavits, plural. But we're going to go ahead and go with this Exhibit A that we've attached here to be, this is the probable cause affidavit that we're going to go with from Moscow, which is the statement of Brett Payne, Exhibit A. And Exhibit A, statement of Brett Payne. So I guess when you get to court then, how do you say, Officer Payne, they used your Exhibit A statement to obtain the search warrant of Bryan Kohberger's person, house and car and his mom's and dad's house, right? Yeah. Well, but you have you have 2 A's. So which A was it?
Oh, they didn't understand the assignment.
Do you get what I'm saying? Like how can this be A? Because there's all these other pages, right? And then this is A. This has like the DNA in it, right? So why wouldn't this be? Okay, this is statement of Brett Payne B. This is the statement of Brett Payne A. How do you do that in court? How's it going to work out?
So here are our options.
You know, what A did you? I used. Well, these are 2 different documents. Like
they just needed some.
You can't like that doesn't fly. But you know what? But you know what it would fly is if you're telling somebody, here, this is my exhibit. This is my exhibit A. Well, how would these people know that you have multiple A's? Because maybe the affidavits that they're just talking about when they say the plural is they're just thinking there's Blakers and then there's Payne, right? So that's plural. But really, in actuality, Officer Payne has multiple Exhibit A. So how do you even do that in court?
How, as the defense, you have to request everything. How do you request the probable cause affidavit if there's 3 different versions?
Why are they all labeled Blakers is labeled Exhibit A. Payne's is labeled Exhibit A. Payne's altered one is labeled Exhibit A. How is everything Exhibit fucking A?
And in order for them to receive it, they have to request it. So
how do you
request the same thing but different times 3?
Frickin' frack over here doing their paperwork. And if you guys think that this was done, wait, it must have just been an accident. No, they know that. No.
Like, hey, did you fill out that report? Yeah, bro, I got it. I filled it out. Oh, cool. I did one too. Oh,
let's all label it. And I could see this. I could see if you're gonna label Payne A, Payne B, Payne C, right?
Well, yeah.
But I can't see you labeling Exhibit A and it being different than another document for Payne and you labeling it Exhibit A.
They need to get with the trash and learn how to actually break it all down so we can understand it.
Mm-hmm. Something needs to happen because this is a major pain. Who just read that?
Shittiest campaign I've ever heard of.
Oh God. Yeah. 1A, 2A. Yeah, it ain't like that though. I just think that it's a very creative way for when you're going through it, like anybody would, like I just did, right? And it wasn't until I was like, no, I want to examine these because I'm like, oh, it's Exhibit A. Oh, they're using that Exhibit A. Okay, this is Payne's Exhibit A, right? Well, no, they're different. They're different. And that's when I realized I was like, holy shit, these people were so adamant of getting this DNA that they don't even use it to obtain anything in PA and they don't use it to obtain anything in Washington, but they use the touch DNA only in Idaho to obtain the arrest of Bryan Kohberger. I'm also making hamburgers and I'm doing a meet and greet at the Corner Club as long as they allow it. Going live there. It just doesn't, none of that just screams on the up and up. But then again, maybe it'll all come together.
What?
Maybe it'll just all come together. I'm saying none of this screams like, why didn't Washington use Brett Payne's probable cause affidavit? Oh, because it would go completely against what he said
But that's why we have 3, Your Honor.
We actually have 3 different we have 3 different things that we think happen. So in order to get that one over there in Washington, we have to give you this one because that's saying that he went straight home. Then in order to get in order for us to get everything here, we needed that he drove over there and here you go. And we're gonna need you to get that touch DNA, but nobody saw this sheath except for Officer Payne. And
he got there at 5 because he was at, a bake sale neighborhood, small town, quadruple homicide, but no urgency.
Yeah, and that's not gonna come out like, oh, where were you? Where were you? Where were you? Did Truth and Transparency just say she's making hamburgers or Kohbergers at the Corner Club? Both.
Kohberger.
Yes, with kosher pickles. Guess who is starting up the fire? Mr. Harsh. He is going to be working that grill. He's doing fire sticks.
Somebody needs to get in contact with the fire marshal just to stay ahead of the game. Stay away from trees.
And then how did you rule out the 110 other samples of unknown male DNA in the house? So you have all these other unidentified male DNA samples in the house, but you weren't able to exclude any of them. And were any of those Bryan Kohbergers? No.
Well, how do you know?
Is there any unidentified male DNA in any of the bedrooms?
Yeah, dude, there's shit tons.
Yeah, a couple. So were you able to put them to anybody? No, they're unidentified. Okay. But they were in the rooms that these people were murdered in, and they're unidentified? Yep.
Yeah, but
like what?
Specifically on the bed, but we didn't, it wasn't relevant because
so I'm just saying as a juror, okay, you didn't arrest Bryan Kohberger for nothing, right? Okay, what do you guys got? He's innocent right now, but what do you got? And we're gonna start tipping the scale. What do you got? Well, if this is what you have, Ann Taylor should be able to poke holes at this. So that's just that.
Do you really think that so the search warrant for all the delivery vehicles during that time frame?
Crazy.
Yeah.
Do I
really think, what do you think is their goal with that? Like, we're talking every delivery service within a week delivering to that area. So right before Christmas.
Well, they're going to have to say what they're looking for. So that should help. So that was redacted for us. So you have to say what you're trying to get from that. So that will help Ann. Meaning, like, why do you want these cameras? Like, what do you think you're going to find for these cameras? Oh, we're looking just at the traffic. We're seeing if we can find this white Elantra. But you have to say something to obtain these search warrants. You can't just say, I want every delivery truck, their cams. Wait, what? What do you think you're going to find? What are you trying to find? You have to state that. So they're going to have to state that.
But do you think that's just a ploy to keep them, like, distracted or waste, like?
I think it was amended. So no, like, I think something at the scene, or the information that they came across, somebody said something, but they definitely amended it at some point from when the original one was issued. They went and got it amended, which is legit, all 100% legit. But it just means that at some point when that would have happened and the original one was given to them, that there was additional information that they came across, or when they were searching this, then they found something else, but it wasn't within the scope of it. So then they had to take it back and say, hey, we need to get it amended because of X, Y, and Z, of whatever we found or we came across, and we realized that, we need this, or so, but that's also going to be there. So that's why the amended version, in my opinion, they're looking for, and why only one video came back, in my opinion, is because it was that like narrowed in, again, in my opinion.
Gotcha.
I don't know though.
Okay, so I have one last thing, and I want to see what Annie thinks of this. So remember in the what they confiscated from the Pennsylvania house, a note to Montana from Bryan, a note from Bryan to Montana.
Mm-hmm.
The company that was responsible for doing the security at the house has a Montana license plate. Now that's a whole.
You guys are fucking wild.
But it just reminded me because Annie had said something a second ago, and I saw Montana, and the security company is also run by vets.
Yeah. I think that's possible ownership in the house. So like if you're showing where Bryan would have been hanging out in the house versus like, okay, this is where Bryan was set up as like his desk when he was here, versus, okay, his dad was over there, his mom was over there, just depending on where everything was found when they did this raid, this ridiculous middle of the night raid. But I think what I originally thought was that it was like a postcard from Montana. Like it was, I mean, their descriptions are so stellar. Like, woo. Is that what you're talking about too, Montana?
Yeah, that's what I was talking about. Their descriptions are, we need to know the details of what color the zipper is on the Ziploc bag. But then we're just going to write, what was it, a total of 4 knives?
I think that's also interesting when they're talking about like the hair strand, and then there's hair strand versus hair strands. Like it was.
And then possible hair strand or possible.
Those pictures though too, everything they have pictures of everything. They had to put markers down. Normally, that's what you're doing, and you're taking a picture of the area that you're searching before you start. So like, okay, for example, Sheldon Jeter Jr.'s case, I have all the pictures of what the place looked like before they started searching. And then when they began to process what they were searching, they would take the yellow evidence markers and start marking when they were coming across stuff and then take pictures of it. Well, I was able to come across the fact that they completely took his laptop, closed it, which it was open, clearly because they took pictures of part of the room where I could see it opened, and then it's closed. You're not supposed to touch anything in the room when you're taking all your angle shots of nothing yet. But I was able to catch the fact that I had saw that they had moved the laptop and it was closed. I was like, that was open in this picture. And so that means that you're not supposed to touch anything. Well, what I was able to determine from it is, oh, it's funny that behind and in the corner of that desk, there was a magazine found full of bullets. And I was like, well, it's funny that how could that possibly even be there with a police officer's like card underneath? It was crazy. And I think it's going to be good enough to show that that was like, that could easily be planted because it wasn't like that when you got into the room, when you should have been taking the photos to show how the room was when you got there. Because that first 2 pictures showed the laptop was up. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Well, did you really expect them to do their due diligence? That's what I'm saying.
Oh, well, we're going to be able to expect that who's ever looking at these photos that is on Anne's team would be looking at stuff like that.
Oh, no, that's what I'm saying. You saw that. I'm surprised. I mean, with the police department.
Sheldon Jeter Jr.'s defense team didn't catch that the first time.
Right.
And I mean, he's serving life in prison right now. So,
I just based on how shitty
I just hope they're doing their
everything's
jobs.
been, yeah, based on what we've seen, which
Otherwise,
is,
he's going to be found guilty.
yeah, we've only seen like 5% of this whole shit show, so
Mm-hmm.
it's scary because you're talking about somebody's life if he did not.
Oh, and that's why all these people need to keep their, keep all eyes on it, keep it in the media when you see something and, you're making mention of something. And it's going to be stuff like that we're talking about here, not like, oh, some source close to the investigation says XYZ. I think that shit's ridiculous. I don't listen to it. But I like the facts, which is, you're going to read what they're talking about doing with like the home. That's fact. But I want to know how Banfield even got that letter.
Yeah, because I can't see the families have been quiet, minus, but they haven't really spoken. I can't imagine if it is actual fact that they sent that.
Yeah, I mean, one of the family members would have caught that up, or where it was written from in that agency. You know what I mean?
It's an email, not like a letter.
It seemed like it was like either an email or a letter. I mean, and you'd have to give it to every parent, right? Guardian, whatever. And I can only think of one parent that I think would
Kara.
possibly cop that up to Ashley Banfield, and that's going to be Kara.
It would be Kara,
that's her. Yeah, but I think she would have had to pay for that because that's been the whole point of it. I mean, I would hope that Kara's been getting paid for her. She basically did not give true information out.
And honestly, they may have not sent it to her. Who knows where she lives? Who knows what her status is right now? She wasn't. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Chat, I think she's in jail right now.
She wasn't even a custodial parent. I don't think so. Oh, she's back in. You think?
I think last she was. I'm a big. I have no problem with AB. It's whoever's the producer of the show, who produces it, who's approving this type of stuff. I'm my own producer here, so whatever I do it's on me. I don't know, is Banfield producing all of her own shit? I don't know. Who's okaying, somebody owns News and who owns that to say that, yeah, okay, we approve that you're going to do X, Y, Z. So.
I know. I had to go through a background check to even get on here tonight. That's why it's taken so long.
It is wild what is going on there. You guys, I'm telling you, I'm bringing mad security with me. Look out. Look out. I'm hiring. We pay in free room and board. I'll let you come on panel. Yeah, look out. Oh shit.
Yeah, well, if you need anything, we'll send you with some lighter fluid or
free merch. I need some merch.
Stun guns. I don't know. Maybe I should just call that Hell's Canyon security company from Montana. Just have them.
Is Idaho a stand your ground state? Was it? Wait, what do they call it?
Yeah, I think it's called Stand Your Ground.
Is that what it's called? It's like Florida.
Yeah. I mean, I'm in Texas now, so you pretty much fucking shoot anything that.
Oh, Texas! You ain't never getting out of jail if you on death row there.
No, everything's a felony.
Yeah. Yeah, I've only been to Texas a couple times. I played golf a couple tournaments there. It was actually really cold when I was there, and I wasn't expecting it. And I packed shorts, and I was freezing my ass off.
In Austin, or
I was in Houston actually. I was at the Woodlands National.
Nice course out there.
Yeah, it was cold. I was like, holy! I had to wear my rain gear to
Your anorak.
I had to wear, yeah, I was wearing, I was like, oh my God, I gotta go to like Walmart around. Like, there was nowhere to go. I was like, I need like, I did not pack right. Let's just say that. My coach was not happy. What the hell are you? It's like 40 degrees and you're all shorts. I'm like, yeah, I thought we were going to Texas. Like, isn't it warm there?
Yeah, I mean.
It was like February. I'm freezing.
Yeah, and then the next day it would be 95. And then the next day it would be flooded. And then
yeah,
shuts down.
Diaz says, yes, Idaho does have a stand your ground law. So if I am, Airbnb-ing it, I'm allowed to defend my property. Is that considered my home? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
Maggie Cade loves Houston. Yeah, it's all right. I mean, I really didn't see much. The course was nice. Texas is, man.
The golf courses are the only thing that's green here.
I was gonna say Texas produces some fucking crazy people.
Yeah.
How do you feel about that, Mandy?
Why do you think our death row, the prisons take up most of the population?
Lana, don't knock it. You would never survive in Northern Ireland. Oh, girl, I'm a hell of a shot. Promise. Oh. Well,
I don't remember that. Does anyone remember early on when it was said roommates had self-defense weapons in their rooms? Define self-defense weapon.
Mrs. Ben Over, what is good? How have you been? It's been so long. Oh, she's saying it's so cold. She's saying about guns. That's funny.
Did you hear anything about the roommates having self-defense weapons in their rooms? When they were bound and gagged, probably right around that time.
Texas made it to the Elite Eight. Interesting. Alabama lost, in case anybody was interested. Lana, love and miss your face. Oh, I know. I miss you. It's so good to see you. What are you doing here? Just curious. Just saw me live. Thought you'd pop in. I haven't seen you in months. Like months. I'm still laughing. Yeah, wasn't that funny, Laura? I'm sorry. Now, what'd you say? Defense? What was it?
Oh, some bitch Franklin asked if you remember hearing anything about the roommates having self-defense.
Yeah, no, that's all going to be rumored right now. So even if it was out there, it's not confirmed. Oh my God, Boston's here?
She has a headache.
Oh, baby girl, you know my situation. Love you, B. I'll text you. I'll hit you on your hip. I never see you live anymore. You were on my page today. Lucky me. Oh, you never see me live anymore. What? You need to fix your algorithm, girl. Iowa's no joke women's basketball. Tomorrow, Ohio State plays. So the Buckeyes are playing UConn. So Gino Ariema.
Watch now that kid from Alabama's they're gonna come up with some bullshit charge now that basketball's over.
We'll see. He's going pro. He's going to the NBA. I think this would be interesting. I don't think the NCAA is going to mess around with that. If the NCAA would have saw that, it would have still been on the NCAA. So, I don't know.
Oh, my God. They had AK-47s, and that's why Kohberger just got out of there when he saw them in the frozen shock face.
Yeah. Oh, wait, Jayo. There you go. All right. Well, I'm going to wrap this up. Oh, my God. I'm so glad you came on here. Are you drinking? You want to cheers?
I'll cheers.
What are you having?
It's water.
What? You want me to cheers water? Okay. Cheers to my birthday.
Hell no. H2O.
It's been my birthday month, so. Thank you guys for all being here. Make sure on your way out, make yourself known. Thumbs it up, thumbs it down. Either way, you got your opinion. 1,000 of you guys stuck around the whole damn time. I hope that you guys don't watch boring shit.
Yeah, sorry to put you to sleep there, BB mommy.
Oh, did we put some people to sleep?
She said I'm lame.
Oh. Octavia, oh my God, what are you doing here, girl?
Oh, Heather.
Mandy Joe is so freaking cute. There you go, girl.
You should have seen my cat earlier.
Boston, stop hitting on the customers.
Customer.
Stop hitting on the clientele. Lana, I don't get why you thought I meant guns. I thought you were talking about a stand your ground state. And I was like, yeah, Laura, I'm a real good shot. She's like, I'm talking about how cold it is here. Laura, my grandparents they were born in Ireland. My dad was born in Italy. So I'm just the complete perfect mix there. Italian and Irish, look out. Seems like we're solving this case. We've been solved it. Oh my God, Boston says I saw it. Oh, Annie, love it. Love
It was freshly cleaned too.
Did you just clean it?
Yeah, I mean, it cleans itself.
Okay. You guys are the best. Great chat out there. On that note, I feel like I got to go live and have like a private, like members only. Anybody can come on panel and play Heads Up. You guys ever play Heads Up?
Yeah, that was the best. Like anytime you had a substitute in
Mhm.
school, you were like, fuck yeah, they're gonna roll in that metal cart with the TV on it. You gonna watch a movie or you gonna play Heads Up 7-Up?
Yeah. Oh my God, Heads Up 7-Up. Oh my God, that's right. Forgot about Heads Up 7-Up. All right. Well, thank you for coming on here. Appreciate you.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah. Thanks for, always showing up.
Accepting my application. It's hard to be a customer these days.
And thank you for your help with the trash.
No problem. I got you. I'll take the trash out anytime.
All right, cool. We got to make sure we keep the trash flowing. I don't have an iPhone, Gina says. Why do you need an iPhone? What's wrong, Gina? What does she need an iPhone for? Go buy one. Yes, members only. I know everybody gets on panel. I got to do a members only live. I was talking about it the other day. When's the next show? Probably Sunday. Yeah. All right, guys. Take care. Again, thank you so much, Mandy, and I'll see you soon. Thank you, mods, and thank you, members and subscribers.
Love you guys.
She loves you. Look out.
Love you. Love you, Lana.
Love you. Love you. Sleep well there, Mandy. Thanks again for coming on. Thanks for showing me your pussycat. Appreciate it.
Yeah, of course. It's always clean, so anytime.
Good night. Good night. You're out. You're out. All right, guys. I'll see you guys soon. On your way out, make yourself known. Hit the thumbs up. Hit the thumbs down. You guys know you liked it. Don't lie. All right, guys. Good night. Thank you, BB Mommy. Thank you. You guys are rocking. Are you doing a Sunday Fun Day show with Drunk Turkey this weekend? Oh, that'd be fun. Oh, no. I'll text them. We'll see what's up. Thanks. Have a good one from the land. Bye, guys. Peace.